Is that going to be a backhand?
No.
Are you okay?
So I'm upstairs. Then it's race one highlights, and then you, and then me. Yeah. You happy with that? You tell me what you want, mate. Whatever you need to do. What are they? Okay, cool. Am I on mute? Welcome to the second pole position qualifying of the Fiumicino GP. You join me here on top of the communications and race control container at the end of the harbour. Thank you very much for joining us, where you are about to watch 30 minutes of these XCAT boats heading out into the bay to find out who will lead the pack in the second race later on this afternoon. We've got 30 minutes where each of the boats have 2 qualifying times. That's it. They have 2 shots to finish ahead of the pack. Now, just in case you missed what happened yesterday, here are the highlights of the first race of this incredible championship.
We think it will be not easy at the beginning, also because I think 2 boats behind us are quite fast. So at the start we have to immediately look how is the rhythm of the race, and then we will try to manage the race lap by lap.
It was hard and we kept pushing right the way through the race until the last 2 or 3 laps. We could start backing off so we didn't break the boat once we realised people had crashed and so on. So yeah, we pushed hard to get to the last few laps and then we started backing off a little bit.
Championship, Team GB.
Good morning everyone, welcome to the UIM XCAT World Championship for the Fiumicino Grand Prix and the second pole position session of the year. With the first race in the books as of yesterday, which absolutely delivered, we are very excited for the second race of the 2023 season. I'm joined in by Stu. Hi Stu, how's it going?
Hi John. Yes, very well, thank you. I didn't get blown away on the roof there. Nothing like being strapped in for a bit of a ride, which is nothing like the kind of ride that these crews have gone through over the last few days. But yes, hello everybody. Thank you very much for joining us for the second pole position qualifying session of this Fiumicino Grand Prix, the first Grand Prix of the 2023 UIM XCAT World Championship. We've had the white flag for this 30-minute qualifying pole position session. So the pilots and the throttlemen have 10 minutes from the white flag to get themselves fully strapped in, fully ready, and into their XCATs. So join in as we talk you through this session. And there we see Mr. Capitello himself of 222 Offshore. Gio is the one half of the crew that makes up 222 Offshore. 222 Offshore were the fastest boat during the first pole position session that took place on Saturday. However, when the race started yesterday, they started really well, but then had a bit of an issue as they came around the first corner, which we'll talk you through in more detail later on. And there we see Darren Nicholson, the pilot there of 222 Offshore with his young son. That's Hunter. He's on a school break from school in Australia. He can't make the second of our doubleheader here in Italy, but he is raring and full of beans, isn't he, John? He's very pro.
He is indeed, and I love that shot of him helping his dad get prepped for the race.
Yeah, I can imagine what he's saying to his dad. There's a strong level of Australian banter that goes between the two of them that I'm sure a lot of people couldn't get away with, but they're a lovely pair, and just a lovely, and I say this about everybody, but a lovely grid and a lovely paddock. And then we see the winners of the very first race of the Fiumicino GP, and Team GB there. So we see Martin Campbell, Scott Williams. They didn't manage to get out for the first pole position qualifying race of the year. They had multiple engineering issues, but that didn't stop them. They started in last place in yesterday's race, but finished atop of the podium, which they were more than happy with, I think it's fair to say. And we'll see what they do this time round. They have been consistently the fastest boat out there, haven't they, John?
They have indeed. As you mentioned, they did take a first place in race 1, followed by Team XCAT, Sebastian Groth and Sven Jansson. In third place, Console Brokers, helmed by Alfredo Amato and Luca Betti, that basically made the first top 3.
Yeah, and there we see Seb and Sven there. They are strapped in and just getting ready to go. The XCAT team, they had a good race yesterday. Their long lap strategy really worked out for them, but it was strategy more than speed that got them on the podium for the first race of the year. So we'll see what adjustments they've made to the boat over the last 24 hours or so. The teams can't access the boats at all in the paddock between 7 o'clock in the evening and 8 o'clock in the morning. So working overnight is not an option for them. So they've all turned up very early this morning, slightly earlier than us, I must confess. We weren't late, but we definitely had our breakfast. They were in here and they were working before we showed up for sure. So we'll see how XCAT go. Second yesterday, and we'll see how they finish in pole position.
As you mentioned, Stu, indeed, it was more of a strategic victory more than anything. I think it was obviously Shelley, team manager for Team GB, won a team manager award.
She did.
But it is a close call between Team GB and XCAT. And both of them played it very well and very strategically.
They did. And if you're new to the world of XCAT racing, the rules are simple, but they're very difficult to put together in a straight line. So both during pole position and during the races, even though, you know, to win a race or to be the fastest, surely you just go around the circuit in the quickest possible time. It sounds simple, but in reality there are very different ways that the team managers and the teams themselves can put those strategies into play. So, and there we see Arif Al-Safir there, the throttleman for Fazza. Now Fazza did have a driver. God, I get them mixed up all the time. Just, you know, throttleman, drivers, pilots, they're just equally as important as each other. Fazza had, they started in second position after the pole position qualifying on the Saturday just gone. The race on Sunday, the Grand Prix itself, they started in a strong position and mechanical failure, plus a little bit of contact with 222 offshore, meant that their race was over really before it began. There was an engine failure, and they were running on just the one outboard, which is a crying shame because they were quick.
Yeah, you're quite right, Stu. Obviously, there was that incident with 222 offshore, so actually Fazza did not manage to finish the race, only completed 8 laps out of the total 16. Although it seems there was quite a lot of work being done on the actual boat, hopefully they managed to rectify all the issues.
Yeah, we had a little walk around the paddock this morning, chatting to the teams and looking at the condition of some of the boats. And Fazza and 222 offshore looking battle scarred, I think it's fair to say. Luckily no one was injured. These boats are strong. There was a coming together on that first turning of the circuit. So as we look out, boys Alpha 1 as they are designated here, but essentially corner number 1. There was a coming together. Both teams have got different stories, which I think is probably fair, but all is fair in love and war. But they've spoke about it. I know that the two crews have had a chat with each other. There's no bad blood. It's just a racing incident. Sometimes these things happen. Luckily everybody was okay. But unfortunately it did really ruin both of their races, which is a crying shame really. But Fazza will be going into this pole position qualifying session with high hopes. They did finish second last time round in the pole position qualifying session, so hopefully they will do all right. And here we see HPI Racing HPI Italia, they change it every time they talk to us, but it is officially HPI Racing Team, High Performance Italia, the two brothers in the cockpit heading off. And just if you need an early idea of what's going on in the championship to this point, we've got Team GB leading the race after one of them. XCAT, Console Brokers, HPI Racing Team, 222 Offshore, Q8 Oils, and then finally Fazza. This is the championship order as it stands. A little reminder that we are at the very first Grand Prix of the 2023 UIM XCAT World Championship. So we have an awful long way to go. There has only been one race so far, but start as you mean to go on. I know Team GB are very happy about it. XCAT as well, feeling pretty happy with their state of affairs. So all will change potentially after today. John, remind us again, there's a race today after pole position, I believe.
There is indeed. There will be a race number 2 at 3:30 local time. Pole position will last approximately 30 minutes. Well, actually exactly 30 minutes. Just a quick reminder regarding the procedure. All the boats will enter the milling area, basically the area where the teams will assemble prior to the start of the race. Boats can roam around that area, and when race control announces the opening, each boat will call for permission to enter. Now, the important point is that there is a 30-minute window as a whole, and you're only allowed to do 2 timed laps. This can either be done consecutively or separately, but you need to make those 30 minutes count.
Yeah, this is the thing. You know, it's not a case of going out there and doing as many laps as the 30 minutes allow. You have only 2 that you can complete. And as John very correctly says, you can either do them one after the other, you can do one at the beginning, one at the end, maybe one in the middle and one at the end. Hey, maybe not one in the middle and at the beginning. The point is, you can only do 2 timed laps in that 30-minute window, and that 30-minute window is rigid. Okay, it's not going to be 31, it's not going to be 29, and Team GB looking fairly relaxed there about their upcoming qualifying pole position session. There you can see Scott on his phone.
I mean, I gotta say, Scott always looks unbelievably relaxed prior to a race. I gotta hand it to him.
He's so laid back, he's horizontal on certain occasions, but he is relaxed, you know. And I think they're a good pair of characters. They've known each other a long time. Scott and Martin from the Wirral in the United Kingdom. If you're unaware of where the Wirral is, that is the Liverpool area of England. So very proud Scouse men from the nation of Scouseria there. So I'm not entirely sure if that's the official geographical term. As you can tell from my accent, I am from further south of the United Kingdom. But I have ventured to Liverpool on more than one occasion, and I must say it has been a rather good night out, which I won't go into any more detail. But we know that the boats are going to have to head out shortly. But before that, and before we get to see these XCATs do what they do best, which is heading out onto the water, if you're watching us at home, thank you very much. Subscribe, tick the little notification button, and make sure that you don't miss a single bit of the action. If you're watching on Facebook, same thing. Make sure that you leave us a comment. How are you finding the commentary? Of course, it's positive. How are you finding the boats? Tell us your favourite team. Tell us who you're supporting, and tell us why. We do read all of the comments, good, bad, or in between, and we value everything that you have to offer. And we love to hear from you fans at home if you can't make it to the shore to watch these beautiful crafts in action. So thank you very much for joining us. You are going to enjoy a double header this Monday afternoon. So it's a day off for most people, isn't it, John? Most of us are away or doing, you know, other such things. So why not enjoy some wonderful XCAT racing while you're, I don't know, in between barbecues, sipping some sort of lovely fruity drink. There's a variety of things that you could be doing. But thank you very much for joining us, no matter where you are in the world or what you are doing. We would love to hear from you. Make sure that you reach out and say hello.
You know, obviously it is May Day, but also, some other wishes are due. HPI Italia, helmed by Rosario and Giuseppe, family-run team, and the father is the team manager, Antonio, and it's his birthday today.
It is Antonio's birthday today, as you correctly say. Happy birthday, Antonio. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it in Italian. I can say it in a variety of different languages, but I'm not going to butcher what is such a beautiful language. But yes, he is very much the man above, the man in charge. He pulls the strings. He's got 2 very lively children out there in the cockpit. I wouldn't like to take a guess at how old he is, but I'm sure he's 29 once again. He looks remarkably good for his age, which is wonderful. But yes, many happy returns to Antonio of HPI Racing Team. We hope you have a lovely day, and I'm pretty sure that Giuseppe is first place in the pole position and a win later today.
Absolutely. So a quick reminder for everyone for the race 1 results. The current point structure: in first place Team GB, helmed by Scott Williams and Martin Campbell. Team XCAT, the youngest, one of the youngest teams on the paddock, helmed by Sebastian Groth and Sven Jansson in second. Console Brokers in third, helmed by Alfredo Amato and Luca Betti. In fourth position, HPI Racing Team, helmed by Rosario and Giuseppe Schiano di Cola. In fifth place, 222 Offshore, Alomani and Badir Alins, helmed by Arif Al-Zafain and Nadir bin Hendi.
Yeah, Fazza, so if you're new to XCAT, or if you just want a bit of a recap, Fazza were formerly a team called Dubai Police. Oh, we have a green flag. Wonderful job. Wonderful job.
That's some spiky hair on that gentleman, eh?
Yeah, this chap ends up doing quite a lot around the paddock. He rides the quad bikes, moves the boats around, blows the whistle to make sure we all know what we're doing, and of course plays Alien Ant Farm as loud as he possibly can. But yes, absolutely, a great job done by every single last one of the support staff on shore. But we do have a green flag, which means only one thing, doesn't it, John? The boats are heading out to place their 2 best timed laps. So wherever you are, sit down, strap in and enjoy 30 minutes of the best qualifying that you can possibly imagine. Just to give you an idea of what we see out of our commentary window here, it has been a bit of a colder day today. It's all relative. If you're watching this in Northern Europe, the United Kingdom, or anywhere a little bit cold, probably would swap the weather right now. It is about 17 degrees Celsius here at the moment, which is perfectly fine, but I am wearing a jumper because I've been in Italy for 5 days and I've acclimatized, so it's now cold.
Yep.
But throughout the day, the weather is promising to be changeable, as I said at the beginning of the program. So certain amounts of wind, and that means it's going to be potentially a little bit choppier, a little bit more swell out there. But look at this. How can you not love these boats? Look at that view.
Absolutely. You see HPI on the left, and I assume Faza on
Yep.
the right.
What a wonderful shot of this parade, and we can actually feel the engines reverberating through our commentary post.
Well, actually, you
There
can
we
see
are.
the commentary box on the right, that little orange structure.
Yeah, that's where we are. More yellow, mate, but you know, I'll
Yellow.
let that pass.
Fair play.
But yeah, absolutely. Favourite word there. But the boats are heading out now, so there is only a 30-minute window for these teams to place their best 2 laps. If you're watching at home, leave us a comment. Tell us, who do you think is going to finish in that pole position? We would love to know. Are you going to be right? And if you get it right, there are no prizes. Sorry, everybody. We can't offer you anything at this moment in time. But it's fun to play along, isn't it? But it does look like boat number 8 has only just hit the water. Team GB there. They haven't gone out quite yet. They're taking a slightly slower route to pole position. I don't believe there's a problem, but
It does seem a bit strange. They're putting on the harnesses.
Are they putting on the harnesses or taking them off? No, it looks like
okay.
they're putting them on. Looks like the high-vis is going back on.
A
which could
possible
be-
technical issue?
Yeah, they have been suffering this weekend with technical issues, engineering issues. They had a problem with a spark plug in official practice 1, so the first official practice of the weekend, which meant the boat had to come back out of the water, engine covers off, spark plugs replaced. Then when they went out for pole position, qualifying 1 of the weekend, they had a gear linkage issue, propeller sheared right off into the sea, not what you need. And they had to come back in. That was it. Pole position over, despite the fact they went from last to first in the race. It will be a crying shame if Trevor, lead engineer there of Team GB, it will be a crying shame if they can't get out. But it does look like they're going to go out. Looks like the moorings are coming off and they're going to set sail.
Yeah, here's to hoping. I mean, they did come first. They put on a spectacular race and some spectacularly strategic racing yesterday. So it'd be a damn shame to not have them racing today.
Yeah, it looks like they're heading out. It looks like they're heading out. That's like the harnesses are off. The crane. Oh no, they're taking it off so that they can bring it back towards the crane. I was being a little bit optimistic there.
Yeah,
optimism by choice rather than reality, I'm afraid.
Scott and Martin must be gutted right now.
Yeah, this is severely disappointing for Team GB. We'll head down to the paddock at the conclusion of qualifying and have a chat with them and see what the problem was and bring that to you during the live race coverage that does start at 3:30 local time.
That said, Stu, I'm not too worried.
Because you're not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, Team GB actually in pole position for the first race, first pole position, they didn't start as well. Yet they did race in and ended up in first place.
Yeah, they have form. It's just there's got to be consistently have an issue. Hopefully they bring the boat out the water and it's not too big of an issue, but we'll see. But the rest of the guys are out. So they are going to go to the muster area. So there is an official zone, if you like, that all of the XCATs have to populate, and that is where they congregate, where they stay, and then once they want to go out and attempt one of their timed laps, they will radio in and radio into their team managers. Their team manager will then radio race control, which is right above our heads here, and they will get permission to enter the race circuit. But that's not going to happen for Team GB. Team GB's pole position qualifying session is over before it even started. A crying shame. We'll have a chat with them afterwards and see what happened. But we have been given the okay for boats to start their qualifying session. So as we look out of it here, there's a bit of warming up happening. It looks like one of the boats has at least radioed in to have a little look at the race circuit. Now, although you can only have 2 timed laps, you can start a lap and then abort as long as you don't go through the timing gate of Tango 1, Tango 1, which is located nearest to us this side of the shore.
Yeah, you're quite right, Stu. In the first pole position session, we did have 222 offshore in first place, Faza in second, and Console Brokers in third. Do you think they'll manage to, 222 offshore will manage to get first place once more?
I mean, they seemed optimistic when I spoke to them this morning. They weren't too worried about the state of the boat, although it looks like it's had better days. But there looks like one of the teams has entered the racetrack at the moment and is about to head around the final corner, and it looks like Faza are the team that have entered the race circuit first. They are going to attempt a timed lap. Now we're looking at somewhere over the 3 minute mark. 3 minutes 5 seconds, 3 minutes 10 seconds, 3 minutes 12. Faza were hovering around that point during pole position qualifying the first time round, and it looks like the conditions are actually fairly flat. Now we are having this pole position race, pole position qualifying, sorry, earlier in the day than we did on Saturday, so that could make a material difference to the state of the water.
And has HPI also entered their first timed lap?
Well, that would be a very interesting decision on the part of HPI Racing, mainly because you've got Faza running ahead of them, disturbing the water. So not only will HPI have to contend with the swells, the wind, and some other changeable conditions potentially, but they're also going to be going along behind Faza, who are themselves creating a wake and disturbing the water. So we will have to wait and see if it makes any difference.
But as you said, Stu, the conditions are looking pretty calm right now.
They are.
Yesterday that did change quite quickly, so maybe they're trying to make the most out of the calm waters, try to get in the fastest times as possible.
Could well do, because now we see Console Brokers finished in third after the first race of this 2023 UIM XCAT World Championship and the first Grand Prix at Fiumicino. Console Brokers have decided to go in and go for it. So again, interesting decision. As you correctly said there, maybe they are all trying to take advantage of the conditions that are currently, like you say, looking very flat from here. But Alfredo Amato and Luca Betti are looking to take advantage of what's been going on. We can see the teams lapping round the circuit, and we'll be able to bring you the first times very shortly when they go back through the timing gate here in front of us. But yeah, it does look very, very flat. We're now seeing HPI at the back end of the course going around Delta, Delta 1 and Delta 2. The three boys furthest away from our commentary position here, and then they have a nice long straight down to Echo, Echo 1, the boys that signify the last left-hand turn before they can make a sprint to that timing sector at the back. And you can see there, Faza bobbling around a little bit, but fundamentally looking pretty flat, aren't they? Which is good. You want your propellers in the water for the maximum amount of time, giving you the maximum amount of speed.
Yeah, and obviously Faza was in the incident yesterday involving 222 offshore. So it seems the mechanics did a good job at rectifying the issue. They are looking pretty fast on the water.
Yeah, interestingly, there's a little bit of bobble there as you head around the back straight, and they're about to go through the timing, boys, now of Tango Tango 1. We have the first time posted. Ooh,
It's a quick one.
it's a quick one. It is a quick one. So Fazza have completed their first time lap. It's the first time lap of this second pole position qualifying session of the Fiumicino Grand Prix. 2 minutes 45 seconds and about 100th, nearly 200th of a second at the end there. So 2:45. Just to give you an idea, that is about 20 seconds quicker than some of the laps we were seeing yesterday. So that tells me that the conditions are definitely more favourable than they were last time round.
Yeah, actually, we did not have a faster. Actually, that's the fastest time any of the boats have made during a pole position race. And HPI Racing Team has also clocked in at 2 minutes and 46 seconds, 1 second behind Fazza.
Wow, yeah, so HPI again lapping very, very quickly. We're about to see Console Brokers post a timed lap. So those three went out, and at the moment it's looking like a very strong decision. So Console Brokers are now heading down the home straight. If it looks slow, it tends to be fast. But you can see just how fast they're moving there in comparison to the shore. I think they're going to lap in third position slower than HPI. Are my guts right? Am I correct? We're about to find out. They're going to go through the timing gate, and I am right, and that is satisfying, just from a professional point of view. Console Brokers, third team out, and they are currently in third position.
Yep, 2 minutes and 47 seconds, 1 second behind HPI Racing Team. It's getting fierce out there.
It is, and I wonder if the wake and the disturbed water from the boats that went out earlier are actually now having an impact on those other teams. But now we see 222 offshore, 222 offshore, heading out for their timed lap. We've just seen them go through the official Charlie 1 boys, which is the official entry to the race circuit once they've radioed into their team manager, and the team manager has got permission from race control. So they've gone off and they have decided that this is going to be for them. So they're now currently heading down the final straight, which for them will be the first straight. They go through the timing boys of Tango Tango 1, which officially starts their race now. So they are off on their timed lap. 222 offshore. They finished the last pole position session in first place, but we will see how they do this time round. They did have a disappointing race yesterday, and they have got themselves a bit of work to do. They finished 5th yesterday, but we have got to see how they do from now.
Yeah, speaking of 222 offshore, Giovanni Capitella did express severe disappointment following the incident with Fazza. There was quite a severe drop in engine power, and they were in a constant worry about any potential engine alarms. They hoped they'd be in the race today. They made it, and yeah, technicians just did an amazing job. So Team XCAT has entered their first timed lap, helmed by Sebastian Groth and Sven Jansson.
So XCAT have entered the fray. Finished second yesterday, despite finishing 4th in the first pole position. There's a lot of numbers throwing around. Finishing 4th in the first pole position qualifying session that happened a few days ago. Calm, sophisticated, and generally know what they're doing, Team XCAT. But they've decided to enter the fray with a first time lap attempt about 10 minutes into this 30-minute window. So all to play for. It looks like everybody is posting quicker times than they did in the first pole position session of this Fiumicino Grand Prix, and this is making for quick times. And there we see QA Oils have entered the circuit. Abdulatif Alomani and Baba Al Dusari, they have decided to enter. They've had a disappointing weekend all round, if I'm honest, which is a shame because they have traditionally been quite competitive. But at the same time, maybe this will be their day.
Yeah, maybe it's their time to shine. Let's see how it goes. Oh, there's quite a lot of jumping there.
Yeah,
Seems like the conditions are getting a bit worse.
It does look like it's getting a little bit rougher out there. Ideally for, well, any vessel to be honest, but with XCATs particularly, because speed is the name of the game, you want the boats to be as flat as humanly possible. And there are things that they can do shoreside to make that the case, but in reality they can't do much about physics, and they need their boats to run as flat as possible. And there's 222 offshore have now gone through the timing barrier, and they have posted the fastest lap of this pole position qualifying session. They have gone 2:44 and 9.5 hundredths of a second that have posted a timed lap, and now we're just waiting for XCAT, aren't we?
That's it. 222 offshore have been looking very steady in delivering some pretty good performances in pole. Obviously there was the incident, so who knows, maybe race 1 would have gone their way as well. But pole 2 looking good.
It's exciting. It's exciting for us as commentators. It's exciting for people watching from the shore, and hopefully it's exciting for you watching from home. Do tell us how you've been finding the action so far. We'd love to hear from you. There's still time for you to call your predictions at home. There's still time for you to tell us who you think is going to win this pole position session and who's going to finish first, meaning they lead the groups as they go out for the race later on today. And as XCAT go through the timing barrier,
That is quite a shame, but that is just the first timed lap. To be honest, they didn't do too well. Well, actually, they ended up in 4th place in pole 1, pole for race 1. But did end up in 2nd place during the actual race.
yeah, it was a masterclass of strategy there by the team and their team manager. It's interesting to see just how the boats have been set up for qualifying for the pole position session compared to the race itself. As you say, we had, of the 3 boats on the podium yesterday, 2 of which had a pretty poor, if a qualifying session at all. So all to play for when the race comes around. How the boats and the crews finish in this session has almost no bearing on the race sometimes, which is lovely, because as a fan, as a spectator, what we want to see is close and exciting racing, which is what this XCAT Championship gives every single time, and why I am a massive fan of this championship. So we're about to see QA Oils going through the timing gate there to post their first quick lap. They're going through now. So Abdulatif and Bader have finished their first timed lap, first of 2. And now we have a new sort of boat, unfortunately.
Yep, 2 minutes and 53 seconds. So just a quick recap. In first place, we have 222 offshore, 2 minutes and 44 seconds. Faza in second place, 2 minutes and 45. In third place, HPI Racing Team, 2 minutes and 46. In fourth place, Console Brokers, 2 minutes and 47. Fifth place, Team XCAT, 2 minutes and 48. And lastly, in sixth position, QA Oils, 2 minutes and 53 seconds.
Yeah. So it's interesting. We're around about halfway through this 30-minute qualifying session now. So we've had 14 and 3/4 minutes. Just thought, let's be pretty solid about this. We've had 14 minutes or so of the pole position qualifying session. We've had 6 of the 7 go out for a qualifying run.
And Team XCAT's looking fast out there.
They are looking fast. I wonder if they're just bringing kind of momentum round. These boats are separated currently by less than 10 seconds. We'll find out once the second laps start to be taken whether they have any more to give, but XCAT have decided we're going to go for a second run as early as we can, so they will have completed their 2 time runs within the first half of this qualifying session of 30 minutes. Maybe they know something we don't, or maybe they just think we'll get it done. Maybe they have nothing left. Maybe they know that what the time that they've posted is as quick a time as that they can muster, so they might as well just get it done, head back to the paddock, take the boat out of the water, back to the crate, and back to their container. Crates are far smaller, and get the boat out and just be done with it.
Team managers anxiously looking at the timed laps. You have the team for 222 offshore there. That's the father of Gio Capitella.
Very nice man.
Lovely man all around.
Lovely man, has been ploughing us with wine and cheese since we arrived. We have humbly had to accept his lovely offer. Italy, of course, the land of many, many, many lovely things, cheese and wine included. And we must say, this beautiful city of Fiumicino has been a wonderful host. I'm sure the tourist board will thank us for saying, but we've had a lovely stay. The people have been great, and the coffee has been fantastic. And we are going for a gelato, I believe, later on today. We've been good. We've been having to fit into our XCAT tops, so we've been trying to keep the pounds off, but I'm going for a gelato.
But ice cream helps with your voice, doesn't it? I think that's a thing.
Science, you can't argue with it. You know, we have to do it. So Faza have decided to enter the fray. They have just gone through the timing boys down the home straight, and they are going to go for their second timed lap, second of 2 of their pole position qualifying session. So Faza currently sat in second place, 2 minutes 45 and a few hundredths. They could easily catch 222 offshore with a strong performance here. And it seems like these boats are running in sequence because Console Brokers have decided to join.
Yep, you're quite right. You know what? Whenever I see Team Faza out there, I can't help but get shivers down my spine. There's massive experience in that boat. You have Arif, aged 49, been racing all his life. Nadir, aged 54, again, massive success as a throttle man.
Yeah, absolutely. They're world champions. They know what they're doing. They've had an awful lot of success together and separately. And Console Brokers there, talking of pairs with success, that's Alfredo Amato and Luca Betti. They have gone through the timing beacons there for their second timed lap. Alfredo Amato, a very proud Neapolitan. If you're watching in Italy, I'm sure it won't have escaped your knowledge that Napoli football team and the team from Console Brokers were very excitable about that prospect. Unfortunately, drew 1-1 yesterday, so they are going to have to wait for their celebration. But will Luca Betti and Alfredo Amato be celebrating today on the top step of the podium? They did a great job yesterday coming through and finishing third, but they'll want to go 2 better in the race later on today, and they'll want to do much better in pole position as well, finishing third last time round.
Yeah, Alfredo, we did speak to Alfredo yesterday. He did mention that the start was a little bit bad. Faza got an early start, so that forced them to actually chase them. So they were behind them, remained third throughout the whole race. The sea, he mentioned there was about 1.5 meters of waves. We could not tell from the commentary box, but I'll take Alfredo, I'll take his word over anything. So they had to administer the boat throughout, but they managed to take a podium.
Yeah, they did a really good job. Luca Betti, who is piloting a World Rally Championship veteran, knows a thing or two about doing things behind the wheel. And we see Faza now going through the timing beacons for their second time lap. Ooh. And they have gone first. They have posted the quickest time lap of this pole position session so far, a 2 minutes 43 and 600th of a second. So at the moment they are over a second ahead of 222 offshore. They could be in position to finish top of the tree here, couldn't they, John?
Yeah, just when you think that 222 offshore have pulled it out the bag, Faza just heads over and tops that. That's pretty incredible.
They'll be really disappointed with their race performance yesterday. You know, regardless of who was at fault or if anyone was at fault for the coming together during the actual race, they had a very strong pole position session last time out in pole position qualifying 1. Now we're in pole position qualifying 2, the second of this Fiumicino Grand Prix. They are obviously out and baying for blood because they've got the bit between their teeth for sure. And Console Brokers have just gone through the timing beacon. They stay in third position. So they couldn't better their lap, which is a shame for them. But they are in third as it stands, with other teams yet to go out and post their second time lap, including 222 offshore, including XCAT, including HPI, and including Q8 oils as well.
Yep, yep.
XCAT have already done their 2. I apologise. They went out consecutively, didn't they? And that was that.
Is 222 Offshore gonna try have a go at it?
Yeah,
They
now
can top their time.
222 Offshore, they finished first, didn't they? Or they topped the qualifying during the first qualifying pole position session of this Fiumicino Grand Prix here in Fiumicino, just outside of Roma. 222 Offshore, they are going to have to go 1.3-ish seconds quicker than Faza, which is an awful lot. That's a big ask. But it's the 2 teams that came together during the first race of the year going for the second pole position of the year. And Giovanni and Darren are going to be hammer and tong to get to the top of the tree there. The boat has it in it. It looked all right on the shore when we had a look at it this morning. They felt calm, confident. They've been together a long time, these 2, so they definitely feed off each other in the right way. And we shall see. But at the moment, it looks like the top 2 from pole position qualifying 1 are going to be the top 2 in pole position qualifying 2, albeit in their orders reversed. So last time out it was 222 Offshore in first and Faza in second, and now it is still Faza in first and 222 Offshore in second. They did not post a faster time during that second lap. So at the moment, that is Faza top of the tree, isn't it, John?
Yeah, quite right. Team Faza in first position, 2 minutes and 43 seconds, followed by 222 Offshore with 2 minutes 44. In third place, Console Brokers. In fourth place, HPI Racing Team, who we're seeing them go for the second one. Team XCAT in 5th place, and Q8 Oils in position 6.
Yes, so HPI Racing Team heading out there now for their second time lap, and you can just see that is Scott from Team GB stood with his team manager Shelley. So they tasted victory yesterday. They also didn't go out in pole position qualifying 1, the first session of the year. They haven't gone out for pole position qualifying 2, the second of the year. And they're going to have to repeat what they did yesterday, which was go from last to first, if they want to see that happen again. But they will be starting in 7th in the race later on today, if they can repair and rectify the issue that they appear to have had earlier on in the day. Something we will find out and bring you later on.
You're quite right. Obviously, the teams had pretty much about a day's gap from pole position and then race 1, so they had a little bit more time to rectify their issues. That said, we will be having race 2 at 3:30, so would that give them enough time? That's about 3 hours?
I don't know. I mean, I am no engineer, but it depends on the size of the fault, really. You know, last time, the fault they had with the spark plug was boat out the water, casing off, spark plug repair, back in the water, and they were fine. So it was a very quick change. As quick a change as you can make when you have to physically remove, albeit carbon tubs, but out of the water, moving back to your container, start again. So the process isn't as quick as, say, on a land race, a motorsport race, coming into the pits and quickly changing something. Although a spark plug is never a quick thing to change, regardless of what you're changing them in. So yes, we shall see. But here we have HPI Italia are coming through to complete their second timed lap of this pole position qualifying session. We've had 25 minutes of a session so far. The session lasting 30 minutes only, and they go through the timing gates there, and HPI stay in 4th position, so they couldn't better their time. Rosario and Giuseppe there piloting the HPI Italia team, the High Performance Italia team. They could not do any better. They are fierce competitors though, aren't they, John? They are ridiculously competitive, and this will be hurting them.
Yeah, you were quite right. Each team, we have 2 teams that have not completed their second lap still. So we have Q8 Oils need to go through their second timed lap, and HPI Racing Team, I guess they're going through right now. Oh, they reached third place.
So that was someone else going through the timing gate.
Yeah.
Oh, what an oversight. And that was me looking out the window. I do apologise. I haven't had my latest coffee yet. Yeah, absolutely right. HPI Racing Team post a faster lap and are now in third position. Well, there you go. What a turn up for the books.
Oh, look at Antonio. He's a happy man.
Yes, Antonio. Happy
Let's
birthday.
go.
And there is the team of console brokers just congratulating him there. And he is a happy man. That is a result and a half for them, I tell you. Well done. So he'll be talking to his boys there, chatting to them.
That's a proud dad right there.
That is a proud, proud man, I tell you now. So we've got one of the boats yet to go for their second run, Q8. Looks like they've entered the race circuit from here, and they are going to go for their final run. We can just see them going down the third straight. They're about to enter the final corner of Echo 1, run those two boys, and then they're going to start their second timed lap. You don't know, they might be sandbagging a little bit. They might end up getting themselves into a podium spot, into the top three, which is kind of where you want to be. We just see 222 offshore coming back into land there, just past our position here. A disappointing session for them, possibly, but currently sat in second, so maybe not. And we're going to be seeing Q8 Oils going through that timing beacon in around about 3 seconds. Oh man, that's a bit conservative. I think it's probably going to be nearer 10 seconds at this rate. But yeah, they're bouncing all over the place. They've put the throttles down. That means that they've increased the speed, and time starts now. As they go through, they are going to want to try and better their previous time of 2:53. So they're going to have to knock off 6 seconds just to move up to 5th.
Yeah, let's see if the Kuwaiti nationals will manage to climb up the ranks at least a little bit. Yeah, but I don't know if they can catch up to Team Suica. That's a bit of a gap.
There's been something, I mean, the boat is quick. The team is quick. They've just not managed to put it all together during any of this Grand Prix, to be honest with you. I've spoke to Abdul Latif on the pontoon just ahead of pole position 1 a couple of days ago, and he was buoyant and he was great and confident, and rightly so. And here we are a few days later, and that boat has just been struggling. That XCAT struggling to put it all together. But as we know from the UIM XCAT World Championships, anything can change at any given point, which is why you can't leave us. We have 2 minutes and 21 seconds of this pole position qualifying session remaining, and it is the team at Q8 Oils that are hoping to put the fastest lap together, I'm sure.
Yep, so quick recap. First place, Faza. Second place, 222 Offshore. Third place, HPI Racing Team. Fourth place, Console Brokers. Fifth place, XCAT. And in last place, in 6th position, Q8 Oils. So we've got a race on now, Shu.
We do. This is a reminder, this is the pole position qualifying session that will set the race order for the second race of the year. That will be taking place in a few hours' time, just a few hours' time. Race number 3 will take place, due to commence at 3:30, 15:30 local time here in Fiumicino, just outside of Rome in Bella Italia. So Q8 Oils are now going to go for their final run. They are currently on their final of 2 laps, and at the moment it's relatively flat. You can tell that they really have got the throttle down hard, and they are heading down the back straight at the moment, the second to last straight. You might just be able to make out the lighthouse in the background, which is how we place our marker. They're going to come round the final boys, Echo 1, into the home straight. I must say they've made that corner rather nicely. Tougher for these boats and these crews to take a left than a right, just because of the setup of the cockpit. So this is an anti-clockwise circuit, making it more of a challenge for our XCAT crews. And as Q8 Oils head towards the timing boys, they're about to head through them now, and they have not managed to post a quicker time. A real shame, but they've just not managed to tie all of their boat, everything together basically. They haven't managed to put together a decent lap during the pole position sessions, which is a crying shame. But that does conclude our second pole position qualifying session of the year.
So, big winners for today. I'd definitely say HPI Racing Team, climbing up, making it to third position. Console Brokers, I think, will be a bit disappointed that they dropped down.
Absolutely, yeah. The Console Brokers finishing fourth by just 7/100th of a second. So HPI in third, 2 minutes 45 and 200th of a second. Console Brokers 45 and 900th of a second. So absolutely nothing between them.
Yep, that's it. I mean, Team Fazer obviously were super fast on the water. The big winners of the day. Team GB will be gutted. I guess they didn't actually make it out, but let's see if their mechanics have managed to rectify the issue. I think we need to head down and have a little chat.
Yeah, and they're always happy to have a chat, rain, sun, shine, success or not, which is lovely. But yes, Team GB will be disappointed. Yesterday's winners of the first Grand Prix here at Fiumicino. They're going to have to repeat their performance from yesterday, going from last to a podium position if they want to see success. But they are the early leaders of this championship. So, just a quick recap of where we stand after the second pole position qualifying session of the year. We have Fazer, the legends, in first position, exactly where you want to be. 222 Offshore in second position. It is the first and second positions reversed from the first pole position of the year. HPR Racing Team, the birthday boy, in third position. Console Brokers in fourth position. XCAT, the second place position from the race yesterday, start in fifth. And then Q8 Oils, quite a distance behind, unfortunately, in terms of the time that they managed to post, in sixth. And of course then we have to glue Team GB on the back there. A DNS, did not start the qualifying session, which was a shame. They will start in seventh position. But thank you very much for joining us for this second pole position qualifying of the year. It was a joy to watch. Thank you for joining us at home. Do tell us what you thought, but most importantly, remember that there is a race in just a few hours' time, kicking off at 15:30, 3:30 p.m. local time here in Fiumicino. We will go live with the programme about 20 minutes, half an hour before, to take you up and down the pontoon, as long as the weather isn't horrendous. It is forecast for a bit of rain, but until then, thank you very much, and we shall catch you later on this afternoon.